Good morning, Abundant Life Church. This is Pastor Chris, and today we're going to start a new study on John chapter 5, verses 24 down through 32. When I was in junior high school, I was standing in line once. It was lunchtime, and I was standing in line to buy a piece of pizza, whatever we were having for lunch. And all of a sudden, this guy, I really didn't know, I knew who he was, didn't know him that well. But all of a sudden, he comes and he just cuts right in front of me. And I just kind of grabbed him by the shoulder and shoved him out a little and said, "Hey, no cuts." And he just turned and he looked at me, and I'll never forget. He wasn't kidding. He was dead serious. He said, "Hey, don't, or I'm telling." And there was this kind of moment where everything just hung, and all the other kids turned around and looked at us when he said, "Don't," or "I'm telling." And I was really confused more than anything. I just looked at him and said, "Who are you telling, and what are you going to tell him?" And he got this look on his face like, "Well, I never thought of that." And the other kids started to laugh, and he just kind of slunked off. You could tell that his defense on just about anything was, "I'm telling." And I'm guessing probably most people never called him on it. But it occurred to me that has nothing to do with anything. It had absolutely nothing to do with this particular situation. Even though it worked other times, it has nothing to do with this. In this passage, Jesus reiterates that he's the agent of resurrection and judgment. This means that anybody who chooses to follow him is going to live forever because Jesus rose from the dead, he defeated sin and death. And at Judgment Day, we will be asked, well, did you follow Jesus? He's going to judge those who choose not to follow him. Now, that's big, and we're going to discuss that. But if we look at the whole story, we're going to ask ourselves, okay, you're the agent of resurrection and judgment, but what does that have to do with the situation that was going on? What happened? Jesus healed a guy on the Sabbath. And that's what started this whole conversation. So, how did it get from healing a guy on the Sabbath to Judgment Day and rising from the dead? Jesus seems to be answering a bunch of questions here that people weren't asking him. All right, let's go ahead and start with the story here. We're going to start in verses 24 through 29. And it says there, "Very truly, I tell you, whoever hears my words and believes him who sent me has eternal life and will not be judged, but has crossed over from death to life. Very truly, I tell you, a time is coming and now has come when the dead will hear the voice of the Son of God, and those who hear will live. For as the Father has life in himself, so he has granted the Son also to have life in himself. And he has given him authority to judge because he is the Son of Man." Don't be amazed at this. "For a time is coming when all who are in the graves will hear his voice and will come out, and those who have done what is good will rise to live, and those who have done what is evil will be condemned." All right, that's great. But again, what was the story that was going on right before this? Well, Jesus had healed a man by the pool. All right, it's the Sabbath. The Pharisees don't like that. So they start to question him. Who do you think you are working on the Sabbath like this? And this is part of Jesus's answer. He's talking about raising people from the dead. He's talking about judging people. People who believe in him will live. Those who don't are going to face judgment. So he's saying that everybody's fate is going to be determined by how we respond to him. Is that a small thing? No, not at all. And he has the authority to do this because he is God. And to back him up, he has God the Father verifying all this. Look at verses now 30 through 32. "By myself I can do nothing. I judge only as I hear, and my judgment is just. For I seek not to please myself, but the one who sent me." Basically, what Jesus is saying here is he is God himself. He has the backing of God the Father. He has the authority to do all this. This is pretty overwhelming stuff. In fact, this is the most important passage you're ever going to read. That Jesus is God, and all of us will have our fates determined by how we respond to Jesus. That's not something you take lightly. Okay, so this is the most important of all scriptures. But the question was, why are you healing on the Sabbath? Why is it okay for you to heal on the Sabbath? So why did he? I mean, the guy that Jesus healed wasn't having a heart attack. He wasn't in danger of dying in the next few hours. No. The guy that Jesus healed had been crippled for years. Jesus could have come back the next day and healed him just as easily. So the Pharisees call him on this. Why'd you do this? And this is the answer Jesus gives. And I have to wonder, was Jesus just distracting them by changing the subject, trying to wiggle out of what was going on? My wife is brilliant at this. My wife knows how to deal with me. She will agree with me, and before I know it, she's changed the subject. I'll be doing something like complaining about how unfair taxes are. And she'll go, yeah, that's right, they are. Hey, there's a sale on microwaves and we need a new one. Okay. And all of a sudden I'm thinking about microwaves because my wife changed the subject. Did Jesus just change the subject here? No, I don't think he did. This was simply a case of these guys not realizing who they were dealing with. So Jesus brings up the bigger issue. The bigger issue here is not just healing on the Sabbath, it's the fact that you are dealing with the one who is going to judge you. Everybody's fate is going to be determined by how they respond to Jesus. His coming was more than just some guy showing up who had the power to heal. He was the Lord of Judgment Day. That's enormous. You should probably know who you're questioning and who you're criticizing. And they better get their minds wrapped around this. They thought they were dealing with someone they could control with their silly little Sabbath regulations. That's not the case here at all. You don't approach the God of Judgment Day and the one who will raise the dead like this. Opposing him was a big mistake, but it brings up an even bigger question. If choosing Jesus is so important and the choice is really obvious, you either have eternal life or condemnation. If choosing Jesus is so obvious, then why would anyone reject him? Well, the answer to that is found next time. Till then, have a great day.